Okay, you are live and recording. If you are ready to roll.
Is it on Facebook? Did you check?
Fritz will be back with us momentarily. We had a little bit of a big computer challenge, and we have worked to resolve that, and we'll be bringing you Fritz's class here in just a moment or two. He had to move back into his computer, and now we seem to be having a little bit of a slow computer internet. There we go. I think we see him. Yay, Fritz. He is muted. Gotta love our team. No challenge is too big to resolve. Okay, Fritz, unmute yourself, please.
There we go. Can you hear me? We got Stephanie in the house. We're back in action. Okay, so we're going to start all over again, only because it's too important a message, it's too important a topic today to let any of this not get recorded and not out to our broader community. So again, my name is Fritz Pollard. I am a executive head coach with MAPS Coaching, and I'm also the director of consumer experience with the MAPS Coaching team in Austin, working for KWRI. It's a true pleasure to be with all of you today, and I look very forward to delivering some powerful information to you today. Now, in the 1 hour that we have together, we are going to do a quick download on Family Reunion. We are going to do a quick review of the vision speech, because there was some really important information that came from that. We're going to watch a 6-minute video of a top performing agent that I feel really has some good takeaways in how he's adjusting his team to the market of the moment. And then we're going to end with some great scripts that you can start using immediately. And I made a guarantee, I'm making a guarantee, that if you take the scripts we're going to discuss right now and you put them into practice, you can all take one listing in the next 30 days. And with the average commission in California, that's probably a $15,000 to $25,000 investment of your time today. So get ready, sit back, enjoy, take a lot of notes, don't get distracted with email and text, and let's make some money. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is the Family Reunion download. And Stephanie, maybe I could go to you because you are on my screen. What was the general theme that was running through Family Reunion from your perspective? What did we hear a lot in each of the communications, each of the presentations from the stage, from Gary, from Jay, throughout those 3 to 4 days? What was it? And I don't know if I'm going to have an audience on this call. So the reality is, Stephanie, thank you for probably yelling it out in your office right now, is we heard about database. And database became really important, quite frankly, because the announcement of Zillow that they were acquiring another vendor in our real estate world, Showing Time, because they engaged in that, there was a little bit of discussion at Family Reunion. And yet Gary's been telling us for years, our database is our data bank. And I don't know if we really bought into that and believed it. And I'm telling you, the Zillow acquisition made it as real as it's going to be. What we seem to be okay with as an industry is allowing our database to be mined by other than us and sold back to us. That's what Zillow does. Yet if we build a moat around our database and we grow that database and we love on that database and we connect with that database and we invite them to our client events, that database will take care of us. And I hate to say this, and yet one of the gifts of COVID, and there aren't too many, but one of them for our database is the ability to do the care call. And what we learned going through 2020 is that the care call forced us to reconnect with our database. When we connect with our database, Zillow is neutralized. That's what I got out of Family Reunion. So as far as that goes, that's our Family Reunion download. Database is your data bank. Wrap your arms around it, love on it, and it will take care of you. So let's go ahead and go now to the vision speech. And I'm going to touch on just a couple of different things with regard to what was covered there, what I think to be the most important aspects of the vision speech. Let's start with vaccinations. And you go, Fritz, why are we doing a real estate training and talking about vaccinations? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning to see the end of this from the perspective of being able to resume a somewhat normal lifestyle. 50,000 vaccinations are already in people's arms. The third vendor, Johnson & Johnson, just announced they will be hitting the market. That will increase exponentially the distribution of the COVID vaccination. The expectation is, and Gary talked about this in the vision speech, that by the end of May, an additional 220 million people will be vaccinated. Add that to the 50 million that have already been vaccinated. And now we are starting to flirt with a 75% of the human race that will be vaccinated, potentially by the end of May. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to prepare for the fact that, are you getting ahead of the real estate market in the way we may be transitioning back to, never the way it was, yet transitioning back to a pre-COVID real estate industry? Be ready. You're going to hear more about what that looks like. What will it look like to do a live open house again? What will it look like to give maybe a seller an option of a virtual listing presentation or a impersonal listing presentation? We need to be ready to pivot again around what's coming. That vaccination update is going to be very important to our industry. Okay. Let's also talk about, from the vision speech, some of the economic discussion points. Now, Gary and his economic team always does such a good job. There was a lot of slides covered regarding the economic indicators that we need to be aware of. One of them is unemployment. We know if people have jobs and they have security in those jobs, they buy homes. If some of you are going, how in a pandemic did we have a unbelievably record-setting real estate market? I'm going to tell you why we did. And you must understand that this why behind it makes everything clear as a bell. When you look at the home buying population, and Gary showed this in a slide, the 35-year-old and older home buying public represents 72% of the home buyers. 35 years and older, 72% of the home buying public falls into that age range. Here's the reality. That age range has an unemployment rate below 6. That age range, which is 72% of the home buyers, is almost fully employed. And so that's why during a pandemic, we didn't feel the impact that we would have had the primary home buying public been younger, because that group got hammered. Hospitality, service, they got hammered as far as unemployment numbers. Under 6%. That's why we had such a great year. You need to understand that. So when you have employment and then these low rates, now you start to understand why our market has been so robust. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last, and there was some discussion on the vision speech about getting ready for what next year may bring, but these are some of the economic indicators we're looking at as to why we feel 2021 is going to be another great year. Now, I'm doing that to get you conditioned to the fact that there's a lot of business to be had out there. Now, let's talk about interest rates. The discussion is historic lows. Just refied my own property, 2.5%. Unheard of. The discussion, though, in the vision speech is we may see that go to 3 to 4% by the end of the year. It is my own personal prediction. If the rates start creeping up, get ready. Those listings are going to hit the market. Sellers fearing the fact that they may not get that top dollar with that very empowered buyer that has rates on their side. The minute they sense the urgency of fear that they may not get that low rate, get ready. I think we're probably going to start to see listings coming on the market. Now, we have to use our database in the connection with it to make sure that when they do come to market, they remember you. Because when we connect with our database, they use us. Okay? Now, I love the stats, and it's consistent again with database. That's why we opened with that from the family reunion presentation, that our clients will use this again over and over and over again. Studies have shown it over and over again. The reality is they don't use this again because we step out of their minds, we step out of their lives, and we aren't connected with them like we should be. There's the pre-transaction, the transaction, and the post-transaction. Jay Papazon said it during the vision speech that was replayed here just this last week. You can find it on KW Connect, or you can actually find it on the platform that we use for family reunion. He said, here's our challenge: staying in touch with them in the 9 years before they do something again. That is our challenge to building a moat around that database. So there is my family reunion download, my vision speech download, vaccinations. The economy is on our side. Our home buying public is very empowered by these low rates, and they're in your database. When you build a moat around it, Zillow can't touch it. And that's what I wanted you to take away from those two presentations, family reunion and the vision speech. Now, if you guys were all live, I'd be asking you if you have any questions, and I'm going to just assume that you don't. If you need to go back and watch any of those presentations, the family reunion attendees, you have access to all of the presentations for a number of weeks. In the vision speech, I'm told the redo or the deep dive around that will be available on KW Connect. Okay, let's go to the next step, because I did make all of you a guarantee. I want to give you a perspective of what big time agents are doing in adjusting to the market of the moment. And I'm going to bring up a agent here who I've gotten the privilege of watching his interaction and presentations over a number of months and years. His name is Stephen Cooley. And Stephen Cooley is just a really great guy, and he always gives of his time. He's in South Carolina, and I really am drawn to his concept. He thinks ahead of the market. So we talk about, Gary speaks of all the time, the market of the moment. Stephen Cooley thinks ahead of the market. And I'm going to give you the lead in before I hit play on this. One of the things that Stephen Cooley talked about in this video, and then you're going to see it from that point forward, is he said starting last summer, he could start to see the inventory being gobbled up. And so what he did is he started retooling his team to only think listings. I'm going to share with you the scripts that he shares. So bear with me. You're going to hear him say it right as fast as you can. And then I'm going to give them to you again. But he started retooling his team to think listings. And he said, we don't need another buyer. We need more listings. So we're going to watch this video. It's 6 minutes long. And then we're going to go over and give you the scripts. Stephen Cooley made the pivot, and his team is thriving because of it. So let me bring that up. Stephen Cooley. And by the way, Deb, if you can verify that this is playing, that would be great.
Okay, looks good. Fritz? Fritz, his volume is not coming through.
Okay, let me reset that, gang. We had a bit of a shutdown. I'm hoping we can go ahead and show this. Deb, can you help me out with this?
Yes, Hallie is on her way there right now.
If not, I'll just tell you what he said.
That's right, she's on her way.
Oh,
Okay.
so not
It's
sure.
because it's pulling off of this audio and you're playing it on this guy.
Okay, so how do we fix that?
Can you play this video on this?
Yep. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me do. Okay. So
You can pull up that video. in
I
there.
don't know why this is not showing here. Let me reset.
No. Can you play this video?
Well, it is there.
Yeah, the screen is not being shared right now. Your camera is off.
Turn your audio
Mic
like
is-
added to our MLS, and
There we
my
go.
question to my agent
You need to
is,
share the
why,
screen.
why is our sign not in all 132
Can you
of
hear
them?
it, Deborah?
So there is a
I
market,
can't see it.
and listings
There we
are
go.
coming on board,
Perfect.
scattered among
Is it good?
16,000 agents in my MLS.
Yes.
Really concentrate, switch all our
Okay.
conversations from billboards to radio to television to the conversations we're having with people.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, gang, is I want to start this at that particular point that I had it at because it kind of creates a great lead in. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and reset it. And then we will go.
Don't like to list, but in survival mode, they're going to need to. They're typically wired to be a buyer's agent. Your DIs and your IDs on the disc love to list. The others don't like to list. So I was always the listing agent in my company for 2014. So I'm teaching them the skills to land a listing. I pull up every morning in conversation how many active listings were added to our MLS. Yesterday, 132 were added to our MLS. And my question to my agents is, why is our sign not in all 132 of them? So there is a market, and listings are coming on board, but they're scattered among 16,000 agents in my MLS. So we've got to really concentrate, switch all our conversations from billboards to radio to television to the conversations we're having with people in our database. Now, here's a good script. Hello, this is Stephen with the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Group. I'm looking for the owners of 156 Smith Street. Is this the owner?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm Stephen with the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Group, and we're calling today to ask you, when will you be selling your home?
Oh, Stephen, probably this year, if I had a place to go.
Yeah, well, the reason Stephen's asked me to give you a call is we're getting more than homes are worth. This is the first time he's seen that in 32 years. We're selling homes to buyers for more than they're worth. We just listed a home yesterday for $247,000. We sold it $310 cash, no appraisal. So we really don't want you to miss this opportunity to get top dollar. And so we're just calling today to find out if you're selling anytime in the near future, now is the time to get more than your house is worth. And so we're gearing every conversation coming out of this office from our ISA department to our agents to ask people that. Because truthfully, we don't need another buyer at the moment. We've got plenty of buyers. And that listing will create 5 to 10 more people who will call in on that listing. The other thing.
Thank you. Are you making calls personally when your agents don't get the listing or no?
So excellent question, and I've added that to our listings in the last 6 months. When the agent goes on a listing, and if the sellers don't sign paperwork at that listing, the agent has to call me on their way back from the listing, give me the basic details of the listing, and then I turn around and I call that seller. And I'll say, hello, this is Stephen Cooley with the Stephen Cooley Group. Thank you so much for having Kelly out to your home today to discuss selling it. I wanted you to know that I will personally be involved in that sale. What do we need to do to get your home on the market? And I've got my agents down to telling me the names, the address, the price they gave. Remember, I know the market, the price they gave, and why do they believe the seller didn't sign? Was the husband not home? They have to sleep on it. And we found that that call, you know, I'm the Ronald McDonald of our company, I'm the clown. The call from the owner locks that deal in almost immediately. Or if they say they were interviewing 3 or 4 other people. My 2 biggest competitors, brands, number 1 is Alan Tate, and he's dead. The company runs under his name, but he's dead. And number 2 is Mark Spain, and I live in Charlotte, and Mark lives in Atlanta. So Mark's not calling these sellers, and Alan Tate's not calling these sellers, and I'm calling these sellers. And we found that to be huge. And God, there's nothing that pays me more per hour, per minute than that phone call.
Yes, I have one more last question. Do you mind? That's it. I'm doing that. It's great conversion. I don't have time to do it. My agents aren't converting enough at the table is the main problem. But even after that, they're relying on me, I feel like, to make the call.
Yeah, I don't mind making that call. Really, in a work day, that phone call pays so. I mean, you making that 10-minute call or less is paying you $5,000 for that, you know, per hour, and you're making a 5 or 8 or 10-minute call. And I've just moved that in this market to top priority. I'm letting other things fall through the cracks probably to make that phone call. It's just so important. No inventory in a retail store means no sales.
Thank you.
The other thing is, you know, if you're going to be a buyer, the reason I switched all my agents to be listing agents is they don't think about listings unless you empower them to list. And even if it's just to their family and friends and sphere of influence and past clients. The other thing is, if you're a buyer's agent only in this market, you're just going to get beat to hell every day. You know, you find a buyer and there's 11 offers already on the home, and it was put on the market at 9 this morning. You as a buyer's agent, you'll get abused all year. And so who's in charge of the sale in this market?
Seller's right.
The listing agent. The listing agent is the boss of every single transaction. And if you don't get to experience that some in this year, you're just going to get beat to death. So, and when I allowed every agent to go get listings, our listings doubled. We onboarded 29 listings this month. We currently have 69 active listings, and my biggest competitor has 3.
That's awesome.
Okay, coming back at you. Stephen Cooley, I'm going to just shut that down real quick. You heard the numbers, 69 active listings, and this is a market that's tight. What did he do? The concept moved from focusing on the buyer. So obviously that was more of a team concept, a team presentation. Doesn't matter if you're a single agent, how much time are you spending with buyers or how much time are you spending with listings? We have to really do a gut check and say, what's the market of the moment? And the market of the moment, according to Stephen Cooley, was last summer, he started retooling his whole team. What I'm going to challenge all of you to do is use the scripts we're going to cover here in the next 10 minutes and start focusing on the sellers. Now, granted, will we work with buyers? You bet they will. We will. Do buyers have something to sell? All the time. Yet oftentimes what's locking the deal down is they don't have anywhere to go. So when we focus on finding them a replacement property, you start to unlock the market. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the script that Stephen Cooley just shared so you can write it down. Now you're going, oh, can you email it to me? Can you put it in the chat? No. I'm going to give it to you and you're going to write it down. It's kind of old school. All right. Fritz is going old school today here. Okay. So here's what Stephen said. I am Stephen Cooley with the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Group. Now you obviously would put your name in there. So I'm blank from the blank and blank group. I'm calling to ask when will you be selling your home? I'm calling to ask, when will you be selling your home? Ladies and gentlemen, that's where the shift is. It's not, have you considered selling your home? Would you like a free market evaluation? I specialize in this area. No, you go right to the topic. When will you be selling your home? Neurologically, it lands differently when we are creating an assumptive close, an assumptive script around the fact that they will be selling. So hi, this is Stephen Cooley of the Stephen Cooley Group. I'm calling to ask, when will you be selling your home? Now, he goes into, if you were maybe on his team, he said something about the reason Stephen asked me to call. Obviously, if you're an individual agent, you're going to take that piece out. The follow-up then is this. We are getting more than homes are worth. We are getting more than homes are worth. So let's start from the top. I'm Stephen Cooley with the Stephen Cooley Group, and I'm calling to ask, when will you be selling your home? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we are getting more for homes than they are worth. We are getting more for homes than they are worth. And then he goes into a testimonial. The reality of this is you probably have a recent sale, an over full price offer, maybe a new record high in the community. Those are the times when you're going to insert your personal testimonial. When will you be putting your home on the market? Sellers are getting more than their home is worth. Please adjust your scripting when you communicate with your database. Now notice I'm going back to the family reunion theme. It's about database. Your database needs to know that they are getting more than homes are worth. Now, do you think if they knew they were getting more than their home was worth, they could maybe figure out another option to not having a place to move? I'll give you a personal story of my own. Gentleman in the neighborhood I live in has a gorgeous home. He built it himself. It is unbelievable. In fact, before we did our home, we toured his home just to look at the decor and all of the features and benefits that he added. I would say that home on a cul-de-sac lot, probably worth 2.6, 2.7. He gets a knock on the door about 2 months ago, and someone says, I will pay you 3.2 million cash. You just need to be out in 30 days. He looked at his wife and said, it's yours. Nowhere to go, wasn't planning on moving. Heck, he sold all of his furniture along with the sale. He ended up renting a little house down near the beach, and they don't know what they're going to do. But his bank account is feeling the benefit of being paid more than that home was worth. This is the message, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to get out to our databases. So let's cover the script again. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when will you be putting your home on the market? Buyers are paying more than your home is worth. And then let the discussion play out. Now, if you guys were live, I'd be asking you if there was any questions. This is the script for your database. Use it, connect with them, use a care call maybe to open up the conversation. Heck, we're coming into a part of the year where we might even start to be having client events as you look at the late spring and summer, as that vaccination, as those vaccination numbers get more spread out into our communities. There may be a high probability that by the summer, you could be having live events. Let's wait and see. We always want to play it safe. We always want to do what's right for the customer and for you health-wise. But at the end of the day, whatever's going to be the opening of that call, this script needs to be inserted at some point.
So far,
All right. I want to give you a few other scripts, and I'm going to actually do a share screen here and pull them up.
Fritz?
And I'm going to walk through them. Now,
Fritz, are you able to hear me?
These are proven scripts being used for the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to call them the golden text and the golden Facebook post. So let's start with the golden text. And I've highlighted them here for your own edification. One of the things that we hear back from our clients all the time is nobody picks up the phone. And I don't know if I buy all of that, but if you're looking for a reason not to make the calls, you might simply say nobody picks up the phone.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so Lenny is asking, what source is the seller leads he's calling? It sounds like cold calling a farm.
You mean for that script? No, that's
Previous
database.
one, or whichever one you were, you
Yeah,
were just talking
that,
about.
Minnie, that's the database. We're going straight to the database with Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It's Fritz Pollard. How you doing? Long time no talk. I wanted to make you aware that buyers are paying more than your home is worth. When were you planning on selling? We're going straight to the database with that script.
Okay.
Now, if you chose to go into your farm, and by the way, please hear me, follow the do not call list. That is a really important a thing to be following all the time. So if you do happen to be calling your farm, know who the do not call people are. And hopefully you've got a relationship with most of those people anyway. You could also use that script there. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. When you plan on putting your home on the market, buyers are paying more than your home is worth. Did that get it?
Next question, that one, yeah, I think that was fine. That was Lenny Figueroa from our office. And then Mona has a call. Can I use this script for my farm? And you just answered that
Yes.
question as well.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Everybody you know needs to know that buyers are paying more than their home may be worth. Every client you know needs that. If we really do care about our clients, this becomes a care call around this won't last forever. This becomes a care call around this won't last forever. All right. So, and by the way, as we're kind of winging it today with our technological issues, if you got any more questions, let Deb know and she'll run into my office and we'll get them handled. All right. So what we started experimenting with just 2 weeks ago is the golden text. And you're going to see that up on the screen, the golden text. Would you be willing to sell your home to a buyer of ours? Would you be willing to sell your home to a buyer of ours? Now, in a text straight from your phone, so it has that personal touch, not any mass texting. That doesn't accomplish the feat that we're attempting to accomplish here. It's actually texting it out. Cut and paste that and then send it. Cut and paste it, send it. These stats are going to blow you away, and this is why we call this the golden text. If you'll look down here, I'm going to highlight the success of this text. One of our MAPS clients sent this text out 320 times and got 17 listing opportunities in 1 week. 320 texts, sat there and typed them all out. 320 texts out, 17 people raised their hand. The next client that we coach, happens to be one individual coach, texted 30 of them and got 7 listing appointments that day. Now, I don't know why people don't pick up the phone. I could create a lot of stories around that. It's not important. Phone calling is still important because some people will pick up the phone. If the text is the next go-to, text the golden script, and I'll scroll down again so you can see it. Would you be willing to sell your home to a buyer of ours? When I guaranteed you when this presentation began that you would take a listing, it's because of some of these tools, the script that Stephen Cooley shared or the golden text. Do we have a question?
I believe you are answering Mona's question. Hers was, I don't have any buyers. Can I use the golden Facebook post to text my farm if they don't respond?
I would say yes to that.
Okay. And then Penny McCann is asking, can we get a copy of these scripts?
Oh, by the way, we talked about that.
Yes.
Write them down. They're right here on the screen. They're not long, which is what's really cool about this. And Penny, because I know where you live, we could maybe get you a copy. Really, folks, take a picture of the screen. These are not long, drawn out scripts. And I think what you're going to find is you could actually start using these scripts by the time we finish with this call. Okay, now let's talk about the golden Facebook post. If somebody paid you cash, you can look at it on the screen, and 10,000 over market value, would you move in the next 30 days? If someone paid you cash and 10,000 over market value, would you move in 30 days? It's like the example I just shared with you. And by the way, Penny, that client I was talking about lives in Rossmore. Now, you may need to, in California, adjust the 10,000 over. That could be too small for the overbid you're seeing. Maybe it's 30,000, maybe it's 50,000. Put the appropriate overbid that's appropriate for the market you work in. If someone paid you cash in the next, if someone paid you cash in 10,000 over market value, would you move in the next 30 days? It makes for a great post and it creates a lot of energy and momentum. The golden text is doing the same thing. Okay. So these two scripts, along with the Stephen Cooley script, is the new lingo I want you to start putting into your agenda to find listings. Again, the buyers are great, but not now. As Stephen Cooley said, you're going to get beat up. Go find the listings and put one of your buyers to bed. I mean, put your buyer in that listing. Okay, two more things and then we'll go to questions. I want you to be aware, and if you'll notice, we're changing the philosophy in the way we lead gen and really the directness. These are very direct scripts for a very impactful market to the seller. So if you get the tone of these scripts, you can see how direct they are. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is the price that you would accept today and not go on the market? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is the price you would accept today and not go on the market? For the client I just described, that number was 3.2 million. Very likely they wouldn't have listed it in a normal market above 3 million. So there's potentially $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 more because of this market at this time. Sold all of his furniture. Now he's living in a little rental at the beach. So notice the tone of the script, and this could appeal to clients. Now, why would a client in this market not want to go on the market? COVID. There's a lot of clients that may go, what? Not go on the market? Yes, I am interested. So again, the market of the moment may be people that have some health concerns. We aren't to the end of May yet, and maybe it'll be a different scenario when we get to the end of May. Maybe it's the end of June, maybe the end of July, who knows? The reality is that could appeal to someone. Look at the next script. What is the price that you would accept today and only show it to one buyer? Get that into your conversations with database, farm, circle dialing, your leads. Again, we're following the do not call list. Please hear me. That is absolutely critical. But notice the tone of these scripts. Let's start getting these out into our conversations with our clients. Now, I'm going to give you one last perspective, and I just got this one on Tuesday. And then I hear Deb coming over here. We've got more questions. I'll tell you what, folks, we're making this work today. There was a agent that was actually on the Stephen Cooley call that I shut off. A couple of weeks later on that same call, we had an agent share that they have what they call their premier listing package or their premier listing option. And what they are now doing in their MLS, please follow the rules of your MLS, for 30 days, or for 24 hours, they can list the home and not put it in the MLS. So what they're doing is they're saying to the seller, we have a premier program, and until we exceed that 24-hour period, we can sell it to a buyer and we will guarantee a 5% over list price offer, and you won't have to put your home on the market or show it. Half of the clients he is listing are taking the premier program. The buyer pool that they have knows that if a client that they list is willing to go on the premier program for 24 hours, if they're willing to offer 5% over full price, they can be one or a smaller group of negotiating buyers. So what we're finding is the clientele is very interested right now in maybe not being on the open market. not having the open house with hundreds coming through. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in marketplaces where you can hold an open house, hundreds are coming through in a weekend. Still could be a concern for people. And so the 5% over premier option is appealing to a client base. You got to check with the MLS and make sure that that's legal. And maybe it's another value add that you can provide for your sellers until our market gets back to normal. So I just throw that out there. I just learned that one on Tuesday. And if half this client's listings are going that way, you might find that you have a value proposition for your sellers too. All right.
Keith Goss is asking the Cooley script,
Mhm.
the Cooley script. Is there a link that we can share with them?
No,
or okay.
Unfortunately, I can't because that was an hour-long presentation. So if we've recorded this,
Then he'll be able to
send
get
this
it there.
back out, and then you can actually type it.
Perfect.
The key takeaway on that, Steve, and heck, I might see you in the parking lot here in a few hours, and I could give it to you then, is literally when will you be listing your home for sale and buyers are paying more than your home is worth. Those are the two script takeaways that anchor that script. All right, so now I got to see, is there anything else, Miss Deb? Deb is like kind of Vanna White running around, keeping me online, bringing in questions. She's going to be worn out this afternoon. Deb, is there anything else? I can hear her footsteps when she gets near my office. I'm assuming that's not the case. So here's the deal. When we come back together next month, I'm going to be bringing you the most up-to-date scripts for the market of the moment. Database is king. We heard it at Family Reunion. Database protects you from Zillow. Protect your database. Vision speech. The economic factors are in your favor. Lean into them and go find the listing and take the challenge out of this market. Use these scripts, connect with the client, and go win the day. Now, what I'm going to love hearing is which of you took a listing from all of these activities, and then you can be part of my next stats. All right, anything else?
I haven't seen any questions yet. Are you? Yep. I
Okay.
think we're good so far. Penny was the last one. Yep, copy of the scripts is the last one.
Okay, good.
So far, so good.
We'll make it work. I can actually cut and paste some of these scripts and get them out to the rest of you. Let me do our stop share here and make sure that you guys get what you need. I really appreciate all of you. Sorry for the technological difficulties. We still finish within the hour. And just know that each week, or correction, each month that we come back together, I'm going to be giving you the most up-to-date strategies, tools, and systems that are working. And these are some of the top performers in the country. And I love being able to bring them all back to you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend. And let's start next week off powerfully. Use what you learned today and make some money. Goodbye, everyone.